Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Claudia, and in today's video we are going to be discussing the truths about pursuing your dreams. So in today's video I am going to be having a special guest joining me, and that person is my boyfriend Angel Arives. So I'm really excited that he's going to be on my channel today. I really look up to him for many different reasons. He is an entrepreneur 100%, so he's going to be discussing with me, just different things that you go through when you're trying to pursue your dreams. So if you feel like you're stuck right now, or you need a push, or people are not supporting you, whatever it may be, then this is the video for you guys. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and let's go ahead and welcome him out, guys. Cat goes crazy.
No.
Go lay down.
Go lay down.
Go lay down. Sorry guys, the security guard came onto the scene, make sure everything was okay.
That felt legit.
No, go lay down, go.
You're really good at introducing.
Thank you. That's what I was born to do. So we are here today, guys. Like I said in the title, we are going to be talking about the truths about pursuing your dreams and just everything that comes with that, good, bad, in between. I wanted to have Mr. Angel on my channel today because he is somebody that I've looked up to for a while now. He's somebody that has continuously pursued his dreams. He was raised very different than I was, and at this point in our lives right now, I'm about to be 25. He just turned 27, right?
26.
26, sorry. He just turned 26. And we're both in a stage right now where we're like 100% committed to pursuing our dreams and our passions. And I just thought that this would be a really helpful video to put on my channel because I know that we all have dreams to a certain extent and things that we want to pursue, things we want to accomplish, goals. Maybe some of us feel like the last year was kind of robbed from us, like you didn't get to do the things you wanted to do. So that's why we are doing this video today, guys. I hope you guys like it, and let's go ahead and jump right into our conversation.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and your background? Because people don't know, like, what you do, basically.
Like 30 seconds? Okay. All right. Well, like she said, my name is Angel. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, originally. We just moved here to Oregon. So, like she said, I am a freelance videographer. I started my video career about 6 years ago, right? About 6 years ago, 100%.
Unless you count your GoPro stuff.
Well, no, I started my career doing videos 6 years ago, 100% when I met Claudia. But before that, you can say it started when I was 11. And why 11? It's a funny story because my brother actually was the one that started majoring, or he studied television production back in high school. And little did I know that I was going to be the one pursuing, cinematography and videography. Long story short, he did not end up majoring it. I still look up to him because if he knew now that I'm doing this, I mean, it's crazy, right? But
yeah.
But that's how I started. And I look up to him because I think that if it wasn't because of what he did, his projects that he used to do back in the day, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And funny story, in high school, I took photography class.
Right.
And I took a photography class and I actually dropped out. Mid-semester, I dropped out. I didn't want to know anything about the photography. I didn't like it. But you also have to think about it that back then, we weren't messing with SD cards. For those of you who don't know, SD cards, now it's all digitally. So you can point and shoot, take 1,000 photos, videos, clips, and you can always reset, delete, format, do it again. Back then, it's crazy to think that not so long ago, only a few years ago, we still used film, right?
Right.
So I remember walking into class, having to rent a camera, and it's you could say it's sad, it's funny, however you want to think about it, but I couldn't rent my camera. I didn't rent a camera because one, I think you had a deposit, what was it, like $200 maybe? Mm-hmm. I think, I don't know what it was, the amount, but we had to deposit a certain amount of money to be able to rent your gear. And I didn't have money, and I would never ask my parents for that amount of money to for school. You would think it's school, you know, they would lend you something. But point is, I wasn't that kind of kid to be asking for that amount of money, especially if it was for gear or for, you know, here $10, $5 here and there for food and all that stuff. But $200, like, come on, you know. So I didn't tell my parents. Maybe it was a mistake, maybe it wasn't, but it just didn't come from me to ask for money to, especially to rent gear. And so I never had a camera. I just shot there in school, and then when I had to do my assignments at home, I never did. I just did them at school. But point is, I didn't like it, and I didn't fall in love with that. I didn't fall in love with the whole photo and film thing because you had a process. You had to go to the red room or the dark room, how they call it. And it was just a hassle. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. Little did I know that 5 years later, after graduating high school, I would come back, turn around, and make it my full-time career.
Right. So why don't you tell us what you do specifically in your career? Like, you do weddings, you do, you know, like photojournalism. Like, what is your niche area? What are you really into? What do you like to do?
So when I first started, I want to put it out there that you are never going to be ready to do your first project. I'll just be honest with you, you know. I do remember my first 3-4 semesters in college when I was taking my first basic class, which was lighting, sound, all that stuff. I do remember an instructor of mine, he told us, who had wedding experience, you know. And I was all the way in the front. I've always been in front of the class. You guys are probably laughing because it's not true. In high school, I was always the one in the back. But that all changed, okay? In college, I was the one in the front. And so I raised my hand right away, you know, thinking that everybody around me had much more experience. And I raised my hand, saying, like, yes, I do have experience. And I looked back and nobody else had raised their hands, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, shoot, I'm screwed, you know? But no, so my instructor, he did tell me that at the end of the class to meet him because he had a project of what one of his friends was getting married. So then I said that I had wedding experience, and I've never done a wedding before, you know? And so that was my very first paid gig. It was a wedding, but I've done gigs here and there, like she was saying, you know, but for a professional paid gig, being a wedding itself, you know, I don't know if you guys know, but people say it's like, wow, it must be hard to do a wedding. And it is. It's a very different project, because if you think about it, commercials, you are able to redo retakes. You know, if you mess up, you can always do it again. In the wedding industry, in any live event, you have to be very careful, and you have to make sure you get it right the first shot. Why? Obviously, because there is no redos on vows. There is no redos on the first kiss, the first look, you know. So I've always recommended, and a lot of people have always recommended, the other filmmakers have said, if you really want to be good at something in the camera industry, you know, is do live events. It could be weddings. It could be concerts, you know, any live event. And then you just start getting so good at getting the shot the first try. Mm-hmm. So that's how I started. I started doing weddings. And yes, there is a lot of money involved, you know, but I've always said, don't follow the money. Follow your dreams. I know it sounds super cheesy, you know, but follow what you want to do. What do you want to photograph? What do you want to video? Are you into the commercial? Are you into making ads? Are you into sports? Are you filming sports? Are you into weddings, you know? Mm-hmm. Personally, I wasn't into weddings because I've never really been into a wedding until, you know, I went to that first one and had to film it. I fell in love with it, you know? Mm-hmm. It can get hectic, of course, because weddings, I mean, they're all day, you know? You have to think about it. You have to think about the fact that you are not going when the wedding starts. You are going before the wedding, the pre-ceremony, you know. Right. So it's hours beforehand, you know. So 12-hour shoots, 14-hour shoots, very long days. But personally, I like it, you know. I love that industry.
So you have done weddings, you like doing weddings. Besides wedding, what is like other industries that you either want to get into or that you've worked in for your profession?
I've also done, of course, you know this, you know.
I know, but I just want to make sure that they know.
You know, I've done with you ads for, right, you know, clothing brands. Mm-hmm. We've done video shoots for small brands. It could be, for example, supplements, of course, fitness water brands, bottles, you know, brands that, although it's probably not the funnest, but it's fun because you come up with ideas, you know? Mm-hmm. So they're expecting you to turn in a project from zero. So this is what they tell us. They're like, hey, Luis, or hey, Claudia, we see that you do ads or videos. Would you like to trade this for that, or time for money, and we're like, all right, let's see what we can make up, because they don't give us a script.
Yeah.
They just tell us, come up with something.
Yeah.
So we get the stuff. And of course I'm happy, because we have a bunch of gear. We have a bunch of clothing stuff. Well, she does, because I have to be behind the camera. But it's fun because at the moment we're like, well, what am I going to do, So my job is to obviously get some ideas from other people. I look up to a lot of other people. And a lot of the times I've told Claudia was, don't reinvent the wheel, Everything has been done. You just have to find little bits and pizzas, little bits and pieces from other people that you like, and you make it your own,
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I've liked doing ads, because I stay home for the most part, and if not, we just try to be around town. But that's something I also like. I think it's pretty fun.
Right. So, me, I guess I do a lot of things. So I've always been, even before I got out of high school, I've always had a job of some sort, or two jobs, and been a full-time student for the most part, or like a part-time student. And I just, at first when I got these jobs, I had the mentality that I was just going to pay for school and that was it. And I was just doing these jobs in the meantime so that I could, make it through school. And then once I finished school, I would start my career. And then it just started seeming so long to me from the time that I left high school to where I was at, even until now. It's like, man, by the time I graduate, it's going to be 4 years. Obviously, 4 years has gone, by already. And I am working on my bachelor's right now, but I switched my major like 4 or 5 times, back and forth from business to veterinary to marketing to even kinesiology, and just a lot of different things. So I finally found a degree that I really feel fits me, but now my mentality switched along the way that, you have a job and you work X amount of hours a week, and then you have life and you have homework and you have, your things that you want to do, but then you're left so tired that you don't even have any extra time for yourself, maybe your family, kids, whatever. You definitely don't have time to do like a side hustle or a side business or pursue your dreams, especially if you're a person that doesn't know what you want to do. So many times, literally for years, Angel watched me make websites, figure out how to work Shopify, figure out how to add products, and like I taught myself everything from scratch, and then I would never do anything with it. So I was like right at like before the starting line many times in the past years. I also love to design clothes, so I have like notebooks full of designs that I want to do, and I would just like always literally be like crying looking at my notebook. I get like emotional thinking about it, just like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I don't have time. And that was always my thing, like I don't have time, or I'm too tired.
That doesn't mean that's not gonna happen.
No, I know, we're gonna get there. But this is just a little bit of my backstory. So right now I don't currently have a job. I don't have a 9-to-5 job typically. I'm just winging it basically. I went 100% all in about 2 months ago. Like 2 months ago, I think, into this new dream that I have, and something that is going to lead me to be able to do a lot more in my life. And it's the first time that I've gone 100% into something, so I'm encountering all these realities and obstacles about when you do go 100% into something. And Angel, he's already gone, a couple of times 100% into something and left, a job because he believed in himself. So that's why I really wanted to have him on today's video. I love to be creative. I'm a super creative person. I always have been. So I can't say that my passion is like this one specific thing. That's why I love to call myself a creative director, because I guess that's the closest thing that could be something like what I like to do. Like when we do photo shoots, when we do ads, when he has a gig or something, I love to come up with ideas. I love to everything from colors to set to fashion, angles, like
Music.
theme music. Yeah, so I love to do all of that, and I love to be involved in every part of that. So I really, really love to do that. That's why I'm constantly looking to create content with him, and it just turned out so perfect that I have somebody who can actually make my vision basically come to life. So that is a big blessing, because if not, I'd just be like still holding my phone trying to figure it out. So that's a little bit about me, guys. You have an entrepreneur here, like 100%, and then you have somebody who has worked a lot of 9 to 5s, multiple jobs at a time, college students. So I hope that you guys can, find something you guys can relate to throughout this video. The main point of today's video is to talk about what you encounter when you're actually pursuing your dream, because a lot of people, especially a lot of people in our generation, like millennials to Gen Z, I guess we are, say that they want to pursue their dream, or talk a lot that they have these dreams and that they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And I'm obviously guilty of the same thing, but then, we get disappointed, or we stop right before we actually are going to start, or we give up right at the beginning. We don't follow it through. A lot of things are involved in that. So today we just want to talk about advice, what we've been through, how it's been going for me since I'm new to this, and just above all though, let you guys know that it's never too late to start. We get the age excuse all the time, the money excuse, the time excuse, I
have kids now.
That I have kids
I
now.
missed my window.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Just all these excuses, and I know I can't speak for everybody. In this case, I do want to speak for myself, like she was saying, she was raised totally different. I was raised totally different. I look up to my mom a lot, and obviously you know her, you know her mindsets, her, just everything about her now, literally. But going to that is, I was raised with a mentality that you shouldn't work for anybody, And she's always said, she's like, well, if everybody had that mindset, then everybody would be an entrepreneur, then everybody would be their own boss. But it's okay for the world to have workers, because without them,
Right.
we wouldn't be living our life the way we're living. So something that I do want to say is, I was raised with a mentality that no matter what you want to do, you got to know what you want to do, right? But just because you know what you want to do does not mean that you shouldn't go to school.
Right.
And she's always says, like, regardless of what you do, regardless if you want to be an entrepreneur, go to school, graduate. You got to have a backup plan, But just because you have that backup plan, that doesn't mean you can kind of lay off, or kind of be like, oh, if all goes bad,
Right.
At least I have my degree, And I'm proud to say that I have my degree, still in my career, but not because I want to use that degree, Like, I've been freelancing for the past 6 years, and I'm really happy that she kind of jumped onto my boat, because it's feelings that you would never get until you do it.
Right.
Because 6 years going and 6 years still going, meaning not one day passes by that when I book a gig, I do it, and then it's kind of like all over again. It's like, what's going to happen? When's going to be my next booking? When's going to be my next gig? When it's going to be, So you would think that just because, oh, I made it already for 6 years, like, oh, he had it easy, or of course he already has a portfolio, or of course he already has connections, I don't, yes, I do have connections, but it never gets easy. And no matter how many years passes by, I feel like that's always going to be there, But that's the difference between an entrepreneur and somebody who has a set job, set schedule, But that changes all around, because having a set schedule, having a set income just leaves you there. That's it,
Right.
You don't think outside of the box. You don't think like, well, I could be making a little bit more, But that comfort zone is what keeps you from moving forward.
Right. And just disclaimer, guys, if you guys obviously have a 9 to 5, which most of us do, it's okay. What we're really talking about is if you have a 9 to 5, or if you don't, or if you're in college, and you have a dream, this is the main thing. If you have a dream, don't let your job, your time, your age, your kids, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your aunt, your mom, whoever, decide for you whether or not you're going to pursue that dream, because it's on you ultimately. So the first thing we're going to talk about today, I know it's been like kind of a long intro, is going to be what steps you're taking to actually pursue that dream. Because like we said, a lot of people say this and that, but they actually don't do anything. So do you want to go first?
Yeah.
So this is going to be basically like what steps you took to pursue your dream.
When I first started, I was majoring in culinary arts. Okay. Background story. I was pursuing it because, again, right out of high school, I went straight into college. I didn't want to waste any time. I wanted to graduate to have that backup plan while I figured out what I wanted to do, correct? Okay. 6 years ago, I met you. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a plan. She obviously knew what I was doing. Beginner, rookie, whatever, but I was already doing what I'm doing right now, camera, Professionally, no. Paid, no. But I was good at it. It was something I liked. So this is where you came in, and you kind of opened up my mindset, okay, why don't I do something I love, that I actually love? And boom, that's where everything changed. I changed my major, and I finished in 2 years, right away. I went full time school, and I graduated. Did I know it was already 2 years that had passed by? And then again, I've always told everybody, is when you find something that you really like and you enjoy. Right. You're not looking at the time. You're not looking, and I graduated just like that. But how did I start? I don't know if I was 18 or 19 when I first got my job, and I had 2 jobs. So I wasn't focused in school. I was seriously just focused on working because back home, Vegas life, casinos, and I'm like, oh, I'll make a lot of money. I'm 18, but that lasts only so long. And I'll be honest, I didn't want to go to school. So I'm like, I'm gonna get so much money, I'm gonna make bank, I have all this energy. Dude, 2021, it's all downhill from there, and I realized that wasn't my life, and I'm like, well, I have to have a plan. So I just focused on school. I met you. You told me what I should be doing, and I followed. I followed basically what you told me, basically my dream. So that's what I'm telling you. You could go multiple ways. You're either following the money, or you should follow the dream. And you obviously opened up that bubble for me,
Right.
Follow your dream. And obviously, little here, little there, I realized that, what? Doing what you love the most will come, money will follow. Mm-hmm. So we are not rich. We are not anywhere close to being financially free, but that's going to change soon,
right.
But I have noticed that when you just follow your dreams, guys, I know it sounds so cheesy, so like, oh, follow your dreams, but honestly, do it and stop focusing on that, because stop following money for happiness, stop relating one with the other. Mm-hmm. Stop saying, when I become a millionaire, I'm going to be happy. It's like, why not just start now? What's going to happen if you don't become a millionaire, or X amount? Then that means you're never going to be happy. Okay, well, the steps that I would say do is start knowing what you want to do. I think I want to say I quit my 2 jobs. I was only 18 or 19. I mean, I was still living with my parents, so they had my full support. In fact, they didn't want me to get a job, And like I said, I grew up differently. I had my parents' support 100%, mm-hmm. So they told me, don't go to school, have fun while you can, because there's going to be a moment where you're really going to have to find a job, and da-da-da-da. So I did. I paid attention. So I quit. My dad, he has seniority at the Hotel Rio in Las Vegas. And so because of one of his anniversaries or something, they gave him a GoPro. Like, here, happy 25th year anniversary, here's a GoPro. Like, what the hell is my dad going to do with a GoPro at age 55? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he gave it to me. And that's when I started realizing how good I was making videos. Or I liked it, So, boom. That's kind of like the light bulb for me. I focused on school. I focused on what else?
You just had a tunnel vision, is what they call it. So okay. You had tunnel vision. So basically, when you decided to switch your major, that's all you focused on. 100%. You didn't think, well, I'm going to switch my major and I'm also going to get a part-time job doing this, or I'm also going to try and do this. You 100% focused on that one thing that you wanted, which was to graduate, and you started doing projects, for school. And
that's right. And that's because of school. I got gigs that I wouldn't have gotten gigs if I wasn't going to school at the time,
Right.
And here's where the funny thing is, like, we are each other's anchor, right? Each other's anchors. So as I was going to school, she was working, so she would help me out here and there. Because let's be honest, in my industry or in any industry, you always have to provide money somehow to obtain XYZ. It doesn't matter. It could be a lens, it could be a camera. My last major, it was knives, and knives are very expensive.
Right.
So in order to go to school, you needed to buy this and that. And you're like, but I'm focusing in school. I don't have a job. And here comes again me asking for money, which I wasn't used to asking for money for school. So FAFSA didn't provide that. You had to pay, So she helped me out a lot. Even if it was $100, $150 for gas, for taking me to, whatever. School provided me a lot of, you could say, gigs that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't going to school.
Right.
I met many, many, many talented people that I still, till today, I look up to. So little things like that, is they helped me left and right. And again, it probably wouldn't have happened if I didn't go to school, like me working for a convention for a big company.
I think that you probably wouldn't have got a lot of good basics down.
Right.
Because all throughout your schooling, another thing that you did was that you took what they taught you, right? Which, wasn't a whole lot of the new stuff that was out there, but you said, I'm going to teach myself. So you'd also spend a lot of time teaching yourself how to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
That now you know how to do that you didn't learn from school, but school gave you the programs, for a while, and then you would also try and become better because you were trying to, learn more stuff, how to do more stuff, basically.
Yeah. And that's only because I really had a passion for what I do now, So I would go out of my way and learn on YouTube, I've always said, I'm like, YouTube University, So it's true, though. Like right now, everything's online. You can learn everything online, The only difference is they won't give you a piece of paper that tells you, hey.
They should, at this point, they should say, you've watched all this playlist, you get this.
Yeah, so I did basically graduate from online. But yes, like she was saying, there's little things that I didn't learn in YouTube that I did learn in school. Am I really going to use it in the world? Very, very probably not, But I'm very fortunate and grateful that I did.
Right.
Because the day that comes and I need to use that, I'm like, you know what? I know how to use it. So I'm grateful for that, But going back to like what I would recommend to do is find what you want to do. Okay. Don't just quit and say like, oh, well, let's see what comes my way,
Right.
Don't, because I've always said, if you're going to focus on something, give it your all, 100%, And even though 6 years have passed and you've dropped a job, and it's okay. But now that you finally did it again and it's different this time, because I see you and you feel it. It's a sensation, a feeling that I can't explain unless you go through it.
Right.
You're going through that right now and you're like, I've left the job before for my dream, but this time it's different.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, what does it feel like? What is it like? Because I'm like, I can't explain it. It's not unless you go through that, So I've always said, just focus on what you really want to do. Forget the money. Focus 100% on that. And don't stop. You've already done the first step. You dropped everything for what you want to do. Now start, because that's the reason why you end up leaving your job or
right.
XYZ, is don't stop, because that's where I think most people quit, because they don't see results right away. I did not see results right away. And I'll be honest, when I started doing weddings, my first 5 weddings were free. My first 5 weddings were free, and you guys were like, wow, those weddings are amazing. Yeah, those weddings were for free, and I had to travel all the way to Pahrump, or where was it,
Yeah.
They were for free, And nobody knows that, you know. Now I'm
people
opening
know
up
that.
with you
Yeah.
guys, you know. But they were for free, and nobody had to know that they were for free. I put it in my portfolio, and all these brides and grooms that I've done their wedding for, they probably thought they were, you know, paid gigs. And no, I just used them, and I made sure to treat them as if they were paid gigs.
Right.
You know, the difference now here being an entrepreneur and having a 9 to 5 is you have to literally work hard for your
Money.
brand or your money.
Yeah.
You know, you can't half-ass
Your
it.
income.
Your
let's
income,
say, yeah.
you know. Why? Because I'll be honest, the last job that I worked with, even though they paid good, I slacked because I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, they're still gonna pay me my $20 an hour. You know, $20. I don't know what it was, 20, but I'm like, okay, if I do good this hour, it's still gonna be $20 an hour. But guess what? That image or photo or video that I did was not the best.
Right.
As opposed to your company. In this case, I'm comparing to my company, you know?
Oh, right.
I could say, I'm doing this project, but I'm going to half-ass it. And guess what? That portfolio or that video or photo is going to go to my portfolio. People are going to be scrolling. I'm like, are these good? And why are these crappy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You always have to give it your all because it's your rep, it's your name, it's, you know? So never half-ass yourself what you're doing for you.
For me, that you should take, or steps that I took, steps that I recommend, and advice as far as following your dreams, I think for me it would be to pick something. Like, I 100% agree with Angel that you should follow your passion, follow your dream, know what you want to do. But a lot of the times, sometimes we don't even start because we don't pick just one thing. And I think that's something that definitely held me back. I have all these options. Like, I want to be a clothing designer, and I want to be a YouTuber, and I want to be a fitness model, and I want to, and it's like, okay, which one are you gonna actually do though? Which one are you actually gonna start? Because you have all these options, but you're not doing any of them. So I would say pick one, pick the one that you would do for free, as you've told me, like the one that you'd be happy if you didn't make any money and you gotta get up every day and do it. Pick the one that you would do, and you would do it for free because you love it that much, or you're passionate about it. Or it's something that you really like, at least. So I'd say pick something, because just because, you know, you have a lot of different options, or you are passionate about a lot of different things, which I feel like there's a lot of people like that. I know I'm not the only one. You often don't start. So just pick something, and that's something that definitely helped me a lot. The next thing I would suggest for you guys is to basically like cut out the bullshit, like cut the BS. Don't sell yourself short. So, you know, we say that we have these dreams, we want this type of lifestyle, or we want to get to X place, or we want to help our family like this or that. And recently I really came to the realization that for many years I've been basically lying to myself, and I was not giving it 110%. I was giving it probably maybe a 95, an 80, you know, which is still pretty good. I think better than what most people give their dreams, working full-time and being a full-time college student and stuff. But truly, if it's something that you want to do, then you really do have to find a way to do it versus an excuse. Because I was finding a lot of excuses all the time, and they're good excuses. You know, I have all the excuses except for having a kid, basically, and we have, until recently, we had 3 dogs, you know, which basically are our kids. So you have all the excuses all the time. So just, you know, put all your excuses to the side and actually commit to doing that one thing that you are gonna do no matter what. Because if you don't start, like he said, if you just don't start, you don't know what's going to happen in 6 months, in a week, in 2 months, and, you know, in a year, like what's going to happen. But if you don't even start, you're always going to wonder, and you're always going to be that person walking around saying, well, I had a dream once and I was going to do it, but, you know, everybody has that story. So don't be like everyone else.
And I think that I can say everything that you guys are probably thinking is like, well, they had it easy. Well,
no.
Well, she had his back all the time. Well, they found somebody, you know, that would motivate.
We'll get into that later, though.
Like, I would say is like you were saying, you know, do it, because if you don't do it, you'll never know if, you know, this isn't that. Something that I learned recently was, if you don't risk, and I've heard that all the time, you know, but you have to risk it.
Right.
You won't know unless you take that leap, you know. And a lot of people's like, well, have faith, well, be positive,
Right.
you know. Like, I've heard that 1,000 times, but you saying that to somebody, or you think it's like, oh, I'm thinking positive, I'm like, that's bullshit. Stop. I get it, you know. I've heard it since I was a kid, but that doesn't make a difference. Instead of saying think positive, do something positive that's going to take you to, you know, risk it. I think that's like the number, if anything. Now, if I could go back, I would say risk.
Right.
Because every single day we go out to shoot, I'm risking my gear, literally, because of the rain. I'm risking it, you know. But that's what puts us out there. That's what puts us different than everybody else, you know. Everybody here is doing the same shoot over and over again when it's beautiful and sunny outside, but that gets so repetitive. It's the same thing over and over again, you know. But if you take that risk of shooting differently, get close to the water, you know, or it's raining, do it in the shoot, that stands you out from everybody else.
Right.
Take a risk. Now, what does this mean? Everybody has a 9-to-5 job. It's okay, nothing bad. It's now your fault if you stay in your 9-to-5 job.
And you don't want to be there.
You know,
because some people do want to be there. And that's fine, but I'm saying
well, this video is about how to get out there and being an entrepreneur and all this stuff. So it's okay. It's totally fine, you know? I mean, we've been there. A lot of us a little bit more than others, which is totally fine. Again, if you majored in a job that requires you to have a 9-to-5 job, like, I take my hat off to every officer out there. That's a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a job, and without them,
chaos.
We need them. So again, it's not a bad thing. Of course not. What I'm trying to say is, for those who don't want to be where they're at right now at a 9-to-5 job and want to be an entrepreneur, to one, be free. It's funny, right? An entrepreneur.
Free.
I feel like we take more time.
Entrepreneurs work more hours than the average person.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I've read that before.
Proven. Like, there's facts about that. Entrepreneur,
you don't have your own schedule. You seriously have to work around everybody else's schedule. You're saying it's like, well, now I'm free. I don't have anybody else telling me what to do. Well, check this out. In your 9-to-5 job, you have a manager or a supervisor telling you what to do, correct? As a freelancer, every client that I have is technically a manager. It's one new manager every single time. So I'm having to learn every single client of mine all the time, you know?
Yeah. So the next thing that I would recommend for you guys that are in the beginning of pursuing your dream, or wanting to start pursuing your dream, or you have a dream and you don't know where to start, all this applies to you, is to be disciplined, because that is, you know, I'm going to sound repetitive, but that's something that I was lacking as well. All these things are things that I've made mistakes, so I'm not just telling you guys, we're not just telling you guys things that we haven't experienced or we haven't done. When you have a dream, and in my case, when you're working a 9-to-5 and you are in school as well, you can't get up at the same time that everybody gets up. It has to come from within you to be disciplined. If you need to get up at 4 a.m., if you need to get up at 5 a.m., if you need to stay up until 10 p.m. or 1 a.m. working on something that you are really passionate about, a design, a drawing, an idea, something, then that's how you know if this is really for you, because it's not for everybody. That's the thing. And if you never try, you're going to be like, oh, well, again, I tried, but actually, no, you didn't. So you need to be disciplined. You need to stay disciplined all the way through until you finally reach a place where it's just natural. So like he was saying, I've noticed recently, I don't have a schedule. I don't have somebody telling me when to clock in or clock out, or when to show up, or when to leave, or when to take my break, or anything like that. So I have to show up for myself. I have to show up for my business, for my company, and I need to take responsibility of that for myself, first of all, because he's here, but he's not going to come and tell me like, hey, you know, you should probably go make money today, or you should probably go do your job or something.
It's so easy to just stay in bed. Because you're like, yeah, you know what, I don't have somebody tell me what to do. So you pick and choose to stay in bed, sleeping.
Yeah.
It's 12 o'clock already and you haven't done anything. You haven't showered. So you're like, oh, great. It's 12 o'clock. Well, maybe tomorrow. And guess what? That's a whole nother 24 hours that you could have been doing something, you know? So that's why they say is like, hey, if you're sleeping, somebody else is working while you're sleeping, you know?
Right. So like today, my alarm went off at 4:30, and whenever I see my alarm go off that early, of course, I want to be sleeping. Like, let's be honest, I don't want to wake up most of the time, but just my desire to get my day started and to be able to set myself up for success, you know, before the day technically even starts because it hasn't even been sunrise, is motivation enough for me that's why I choose to get up so early. So you have to decide if it really matters that much to you, then again, you're going to find a way, not an excuse, and you're going to get up early. And just the last piece that I want to share with you guys about pursuing your dreams and, you know, steps to take. I would say that you need to be patient, because when you finally decide what you're going to do, what you want to pursue, and you have this idea and you're really excited at first, and then you realize, well, actually, because of my schedule, I'm not going to be able to work on this until Saturdays. So I have to wait the whole week and I only have an hour on Saturday. Let's just say, for example, if that's really how tight your schedule is and you got to wait all week till Saturday, and then Saturday comes and you're super tired and you're like, oh, no, I don't have the energy to do it, or I'm not in the right headspace, or something came up, or I got to go out with friends, or there's a birthday party, or whatever it is, then you're not following through with what you said you were going to do, one. And two, you have to be patient that when you first start, it's going to be little by little, little by little, little by little, until that is what you're doing full time, like me right now. That is what you're going to be dedicating yourself to. And you have to believe it from the start, though. That's a really, really big component, that you have to believe that this is something that you can do, you're capable of, and just go for it. Like he said, like if you don't risk something, your ass, your wallet, your income, something, then
you're just
probably,
gonna stay there. It's gonna be the same thing. You're not gonna
you're
change.
probably not doing something big enough. Is another thing, that you can't play it safe when you go for your dreams, and that's something that you can either learn the easy way or you can learn the hard way. But there's always going to be something that you're risking. It could even come down to a relationship, like your family not supporting you or your friends. But there's going to be something to risk, and, you know, it'll all be for the good in the end, 100%. It's all going to be for the good, especially when it comes to your dream.
Yeah.
So just to transition, because I want to make sure we talk about, you know, different things. Another thing that I want to talk about with you is going to be your attitude, or the decisions, I guess, that you made, or what obstacles you faced, like towards the obstacles that you have encountered these past years, whether that was people not getting back to you, your family not believing in you, you having like dry seasons, you know, like what you did during dry seasons, like not giving up, just obstacles in general, because you know those are going to happen. So people need to know. That make sense?
Yeah. So a big one is don't expect the unexpected, right? Okay. You got to expect the unexpected, and literally, you know, you have to stop thinking things are going to go a certain way. Because if you start thinking that things are going to go a certain way, your way, and then the moment something changes, you're going to feel like, oh, well, it's all screwed up. It didn't go my way, you know? So be ready for change. If you want to see change, you have to change. Literally. And she was saying, it could be friendships, it could be relationships. Unfortunately, you know, relationships. But when you have a certain mindset and goal and you know what you want, sometimes relationships can pull you down. Or if we get our shit together, we both change. Not change people. I'm not going to leave her because my dreams are going a certain way, but I can certainly change together for our goals to meet and grow together. Yeah. So some obstacles that came my way was, we can start with my gear. It's funny, right? It's like you're never going to have the perfect gear, or it's never enough, blah, blah, blah. I could say that in Vegas it gets really hot.
Right.
So my camera is not necessarily the newest camera, whatever, blah, blah. There's cameras out there that don't overheat or don't freeze or die because of the cold. In this case, my camera is, In this case, my camera overheats, So, hey, in Vegas, in summer times, it gets pretty freaking hot. So I had a wedding and my camera died mid-ceremony. That's insane. That's crazy. That's not even funny, Like in my contract, every contract that you probably look into, it says if something happens, blah, blah. Now it says it's technology. Things happen, It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's life. Things happen. My camera overheated mid-wedding, and that's a huge issue. And this is why a lot of people avoid doing weddings, or forget that, avoid just in general being your own business because you're afraid of getting sued,
Sued, and I think a lot of
fines. Or
no, I was gonna say like they don't like the idea of unexpected things happening.
exactly. So that's one of the things that happened to me. Okay, boom, my gear. I could get sued, but then here's, like I was saying, you have to expect the unexpected. So I pulled out my iPhone, and yes, I know it's an iPhone. You're comparing it to a professional camera, but hey, you know what? I'd rather have that wedding be recorded with something with a freaking flip phone than literally missing that opportunity to film somebody's first kiss, as first time getting married. Hopefully, But I mean like that ceremony itself. So I had to think quickly. I'm like, okay, what's next? What's gonna happen? That's one. Another thing, what was?
Did you ever encounter anybody like not believing in you? Because that's like one of the biggest obstacles that most people.
That's a good one. Yeah, thank you for telling me that. So you have to.
I hope you talk about the teacher.
Which one?
Mr. Bob.
Oh man. Okay. So
him, like there's a lot.
Okay, so there's gonna be two occasions. Okay, first of all, let's talk about. I guess you could say family,
right.
Friends, relationships, obstacles. I would say that's an obstacle. That's a huge obstacle.
That a lot of people stop and give up.
Exactly. So you would think that people who support you the most from the beginning would be your friends, right? Your best friends, your friends, they say they're going to be there no matter what. But the people who least support you from the beginning is going to be your friends. You're always looking to grow your portfolio. And actually, I'm going to take this moment to shout out Ryan, because I swear to you, I would think it was just Ryan, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Of course, my buddies in college, but from high school, my best friend Ryan, he took his time. He didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for all he said is when, where, and let's do it. So I can honestly say, Ryan, you're the only one who actually took your time, and I felt that you were genuine. I felt that you really wanted to help me.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you would expect your friends to help you. Bullshit. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
No, but it's true.
But it's true. Family, same thing. It could be your brother, your sister, your aunt, your cousins, and everything. The truth is, for the most part, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but not really, So you have to be ready for that, to not feel the support of your family and your friends, So one thing is saying and one thing is doing. That's why it's a huge shout out for me to tell Ryan, thank you, even if you're not watching this, but I'm going to share to tag you.
Yeah, we'll send it to him.
What else? Oh, the second one. I encountered I don't even
one
know.
of your
one of my college professors. I'm not going to say his name. It's okay, fine. Everybody has their own way of, I guess, showing, I don't know. So he went to Yale University. Nobody has to know. I guess everybody who went to college with me knows. Everybody knows him. Anyways, he went to Yale, right? Yale? Mm-hmm. Yale University. And yes, he was an instructor there. I don't know why he ended up going to CSN if you're already teaching there at that level. But I guess he expected to every filmmaker to be at that level, which I get it. It's fine. Everybody should try their best, But for you to be comparing students that go to a community college and then treating you literally saying you are not worth my time or you are not meant for this, And of course, me, don't talk to me like that, or, it's just, no, it's not going to be pretty. So he told me that I wasn't ready for this. He told me to go back to English school because my English wasn't
English class.
English class because my English class because my English wasn't
This is why.
whatever, wasn't good enough,
Yeah.
And to make it even worse, it was a screenwriting class. So that's awful, telling you, oh, you're not good enough because your English is not there yet, or you're not good enough because you don't know how to write properly, So that hurt me a lot, but it didn't stop me. I do know a couple students who did quit because of that same instructor. And again, not everybody takes it the same way. So that's a huge obstacle. Imagine not even starting my career yet.
Yeah.
And my first obstacle, I could have quit and left everything. So be ready for obstacles and don't quit. Just don't quit. Let it be your worst day of your life. Think of it of that way, because if that's your worst day of your life and your career and your relation, it doesn't matter what it is, but you still overcame it. Imagine every other day now. Anything that happens to you, like, well, if that was my worst day, then I can take anything,
Yeah. That becomes easy eventually.
So that was my experience with obstacles. I try not to think of them, because I still think of the day that happened, and I'm like, how did I go through with it, or how did I overcome that, And then you start just I mean, thanks for bringing that back, But
Yeah. For me, I guess, since you're touching on those important obstacles, the biggest obstacles that I've encountered have been getting over my own thoughts in my head, because that's, I think, another big obstacle that
self-doubt, you mean?
Yeah, that people deal with, because self-doubt and being afraid of failure has been my biggest obstacle to get over. Literally, it hasn't been because I haven't had support. It hasn't been anything else, not even the time thing, that I swear I didn't have time and stuff to do anything for me. It's been because I've been scared, and I've been using that as an excuse, and just having self-doubt that I could really pursue my dream, that I could really leave a job and just dedicate myself 100% to things that I want to do, and on top of that, make an income from it. Because one thing is pursuing your dream, and you can pursue your dream and be happy all day. But then another thing is pursuing your dream and making money,
getting
because
paid for it.
You can be happy and broke, but let's hope that's not, how it goes.
But realistically, we know we don't want to be happy and broke. We rather be happy
and rich.
or make money. But yeah.
So that's been the biggest obstacle, and I think the things that have helped me have been a big part, because you're constantly believing in me and telling me that you believe in me and that you know that I can do this and that you've seen that I can do this. But even though you can have a supportive person in your life, at least one person, at the end of the day, if you know, it doesn't matter, because if you go to bed thinking, yeah, he says that I can do these things, or he believes in me, but I don't think I can do it, then you're never going to start, and you're going to keep holding yourself back. And one day you do just have to, believe in yourself, risk it, like we said, and just start. So the biggest things that have helped me, besides obviously your support, have been to choose faith over fear, because I was so stuck on fear and just in that little square, I'm scared if I fail, I'm scared about what people will say, I'm scared about if it's going to go good or not, I'm scared that I won't be able to get another job, I'm scared that it's going to take up too much time, or it's going to take too long, or it's going to cost too much, and all this stuff. People are not going to believe in me. I just decided to choose faith. So replace everything that I just said with faith. I have faith that I can do this. I have faith that I'm going to help people. I have faith that it's going to go good. I have faith it's not going to take years. It's only going to take months or weeks. I have faith that every obstacle is going to be for the good. So it literally just took everything in my head and replaced it with faith. And another thing that's helped me is listening to a lot of motivational podcasts. I look up to a lot of different entrepreneurs for many different reasons. I think one of the people that I think is a really hard worker is Kevin Hart. I love listening to him because he came from nothing and he was not an overnight success like a lot of people think that he was. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, a lot of you guys know his story, literally had $7 in his pocket, Now he has
$7 Productions.
$7 production, yeah, which is his production company, plus a plethora of business. Also not an overnight success story. So just listening to them, because just like you guys are listening to us and we appreciate it, you know, pick somebody, a good role model to look up to, I think would be good, especially during hard times, because they definitely had hard times. Tony Robbins is another person that I really look up to.
But you have to also let them know, and this is something huge, is there is a difference between being positive or looking up to somebody and having faith. And I know not everybody has faith in God,
Right.
and we respect that. But what do you look up to? You know, who do you praise? Most importantly, it's okay,
Right.
it's fine, you know. But in this case, we say we have faith. You can totally say it's like, I have faith that this is gonna happen. But again, one thing is saying it, and then one thing is literally having faith. You're looking in, you're having faith in God. You put everything in His hands, and you're like, but you're not like this. You're not like, well, I'm gonna give you like this a little bit because I have faith, but I don't want to lose everything.
Right.
And I'm not talking about money. I'm literally having like good vibes, energy, or, you know, good everything. You can't say like, well, I'm gonna believe in Him, you know, but that having doubt,
Yeah.
you know,
It
so
doesn't
that's
go.
something, it doesn't go like that. So when you have faith, you'll know. You'll know, because in this case, a good example is you. You said, I have faith, this is gonna work, so I'm gonna give it my all. And how I knew is because you said, you know what, screw this, I'm focusing 100% in this. I have faith that it's gonna work. But that was her faith, because she could have easily said, you know what, I'm gonna do a part-time job, but I have faith, but I'm gonna have a part just in case.
Right.
That's not having faith. So where does the whole faith come? Is like, you know what, I'm leaving it and I'm okay with it,
Right.
but I have faith.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. So faith and positivity is something, it's huge, you know, and it's something you have to practice.
I think really quick before I forget, something that I want to say that you just made me think about is that, and this is just my opinion and what I believe in, you know, I'm not saying this is advice for everybody, but it doesn't, I feel like the way God has it set up, and we believe in God for you to achieve your dreams and get to where you want to be, you can't have a safety net and pursue that big dream, because it doesn't work. And a lot of people, the way we're raised, you know, the way we're taught in school about getting a job and going to school and bills and this and that, we all want to have a safety net. So basically a safety net is like, imagine you're crossing a bridge and it's super scary, you're super high up and you just see somebody crossing, but what they're not showing you is that there's actually a net underneath. So if you fall, guess what? You're caught. And that applies to money, to, you know, your job and a lot of different things. But when it comes to your dreams, I say F the safety net, because I always wanted to have a safety net. And for me, at least, it didn't work. It didn't work because I didn't 100% believe in myself. I didn't 100% have faith, like you said, because I had one toe in and one toe over here. And you're stretching yourself, literally like stretching. You're like, all right. As soon as this feels stable, I'm gonna jump over here. And that's not how it works. And that's not how it shouldn't be, because if you actually believe in yourself and you actually believe in what you want to do, then there is going to be no need to stretch. You're just going to be over here, and that's where you're going to be,
other
on
way,
a little
you know,
island, and that's it. And you got to figure out how to get off the island.
That's the thing. So once you fully commit to it, you have no other option but to actually make it work. And if it doesn't work again, it doesn't mean it's going to work, you know,
Yeah.
but on to the next one. But fully try and make it work.
Yeah.
Not kind of like you were saying, have a safety net, just in case it doesn't work, I'm okay.
Right.
You know, and then that's how you know when you have faith, when you commit, when you say like, you know what, I let it go, but I know that something good or better is upon, you know. But you know, it's something, this feeling, that's why you have to have faith.
Yeah.
You know.
The last thing that I want to share that just has helped me these past years and like finally taking this big step, and yeah, it's taking me years, you know, I hope it doesn't take you guys years, is having goal boards. So for the past, since 2018, 18, 19, 20, 21, for the past 4 years, we've been making these huge poster boards.
And believe it or not, we have
crossed things off of it, and you have to put it somewhere where you're going to see it, where you can look at it, put things on there that are meaningful to you.
You have to
It doesn't
you have
have
to put
to
it out
be,
there, you know?
yeah, it doesn't have to be money or physical possessions. You know, it could be like something spiritual. It could be whatever you want.
It could be
but
travel. It could be literally stuff that you want.
Spend more time with my family. Anything that you are trying to do right now. You have to put it out there. You have to speak it into existence. And that's something that's really helped me. So it literally costs nothing to get a magazine and a cardboard at the dollar store and put your stuff up somewhere, and just believe in it.
It's crazy because we've done it since 2017.
18. We made our first one in 2018.
And we've never taken them off.
No.
We still have the old ones.
Yeah.
And no matter how many years pass by, maybe the first year you crossed off like 90% of it, right? The first one. And then on second year, maybe you didn't cross anything yet. But 2021, we are crossing things off we put on our very first one. Like that one's almost fully crossed off, for example.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. God knows when the right moment is for you to move to your new house, for your new car. Why? Because if you had your new house, if you had your new car, whenever you wanted it, it wouldn't have worked out. You probably could have lost the house. Why? Because of the pandemic per se, you know? He knows the right moments and times. So have faith. Wait. If you truly believe that you deserve something, it'll come your way.
Yeah.
You just have to give it time. There's many things that I have that I want. But if we hadn't had written them down, and if we had them,
they would just be
we
ideas
would forget that. We wouldn't
head.
even have looked back to say like, oh my God, I forgot that I totally wrote that on my wish list, you know? Would have flown by you and you would have said like, I deserved it. I bought it with my own money. No, forget that, you know? You look back and you're like, wow, I've been wanting this.
And now it's here.
And now it's here, you know? So do a cross off list or a poster board. You don't have to show anybody. Honestly, it could be just for yourself, you know? In this case, we do one together. Because I feel like that's how it should be, you know? We're a relationship. But she has her own, of course, like her all girly stuff and everything. Of course, I mean, no, I'm just kidding. But we also, I mean, I have my dreams that, you know, you don't want them, but still, she has her own that, I mean, I'm like, okay, write it down, you know? I want to be a part of it, but
to a farm with me
but
and ride horses with chickens.
Well.
So another thing that I wanted to talk about as far as pursuing your dreams is gonna be to set a plan in motion. So too many times
make a goal.
No, like you already have your goal, like you know that you want to become an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So like set a plan into motion, because you get the degree, you get the certificate, you get the supplies, you get the printer, you get the laptop, you get everything, right? That you convinced yourself that you needed to start, right?
Or it's just never enough.
It's never enough, and you're like, wait until I have this many followers, or until, again, these are all things that I've done myself. So
I have all these many likes, then I'm official this, until I had the approval of so and so, then, you know, I'll start. So another big thing, you know, we've gone over obstacles, we've gone over decisions to take to actually start. So let's talk about actually executing a plan. So I'll talk a little bit about mine, but I want you to share, for example, once you did that first gig as a wedding and you put yourself out there, what steps or what did you do to get that next gig? Like, did you socialize? Did you post? Like, how did you go about it? How did you put yourself out there? Did you put yourself out there? Okay, right. So when I did my first wedding, I do remember I was working at Nike. I do remember. I remember clearly because I asked for that day off, and they were kind of iffing me, like, okay, fine, you know? So I'm like, wow, I finally booked my first wedding and they're not giving me the day. I'm here thinking, you know, they're not going to give me the day. So what's going to happen? Am I going to have to cancel it? So they gave me the wedding, whatever, the day of the wedding. Everything went fine. What I did and what I would say not do, but just because I'm saying what's the first thing I did does not mean it's the right thing.
Right.
So the first thing I did was compare myself to other people. It was my first wedding, you know. It was my first wedding. It was, I'm like, well, what? I wonder what other weddings look like. And the worst thing ever that you could possibly ever do is compare yourself to other people, you know? For the first 3 years, I would say I compared myself a lot to others. So I'm like, wow, I can't wait for my videos to look like,
Yeah.
I can't
You
wait
did
for
say
my
that.
photos to look like them, you know? So I would always hide them just for myself, and I would give them to my clients, and then that's it, never seen again. Because I was always comparing myself to others, you know? So I would say that's not the first thing to do. So please don't, you know, that was the first thing I did.
Right.
And I'll be honest, you know? So don't do that. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't relate yourself to others, because just because they're like that does not mean you should be like that, you know? Learn from others, but don't compare yourself to others. But after that wedding, that same client, they liked my video, they liked that wedding video. And to me, after that kind of approval, which is a big mistake that we're not supposed to do, we're waiting for an approval. You know, you're like, oh my god, I send a video, and you're like, oh, I'm biting my nails, like what's gonna happen? They're not gonna like it. Are they gonna like it? You know, they liked that wedding video that they booked me for their music video. And now here's the thing. Oh, have you ever done a music video? Yeah, I've done. Never have I done a music video, you know? So that was, again, my first wedding and my first music video.
Right.
So they liked it. So now you're here feeling good, you know? It's like, oh, yeah, I'm the best videographer. I'm like, I got this, you know? Until your first client that says, oh, hey, but can you change this, or can we do this? So now you start feeling, oh, shoot, I'm not good enough, or I messed up, you know?
Right.
So you have to be open to it comes again to change. It's not you did amazing, I did amazing, you always tell me this, I did amazing. It's not you, it's the client, you know? So just because we shoot everything does not mean we're going to use everything. So that's something I've learned, is that something they told us is you have to learn to let go of your babies, like little bits and pieces, you know? Just because we shot everything does not mean that we have to use everything. So same thing, you know? So just because I've had all this gear, I mean, I don't have a lot of gear, but all this gear does not mean I'm going to keep all this gear, you know? So just because I have everything does not mean I have to take all my gear with me to all the weddings, you know? You have to learn. What?
Your clothes.
Oh, my clothes. No, I don't have a lot of clothes.
Interesting.
So that's something, okay? So that's something I learned, and that's something I really do. If you guys were going to take something away from anything of this, is don't compare yourself to anybody.
Yeah.
I liked what somebody once told me, and I've always told this to everybody because that's something I've really felt that helped me, is people are saying, it's like, there's always somebody better than you, you know? There's always going to be somebody better than you. And I'm like, oh, shit, thanks, you know? So no matter how good I did, somebody's going to beat me, you know? So I liked how they changed it. And I've always said, and it's always stuck to me, is there's always going to be somebody worse than you. So if you suck, I'm not going to say you suck, but if you feel like you suck, you know, you deeply think you suck, find somebody worse than you. And then you're going to feel like, damn, if he's getting paid that much and his video is trash, then my video could have been paid the same amount, being better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm referring to video in this case, okay? But it could be whatever. It could be your clothing brand. It could be your nails.
Cupcakes.
It could be food, a chef, a freelance, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So just remember that there's always going to be somebody worse than you. And it's true. Once you switch that, instead of searching, oh, best nails out there, because you're going to compare yourself to that person, put nails that are horrible yet selling like this, then you're going to be like, holy crap. Oh, I'm going to put all my stuff online and sell them, you know, because if they can sell, mine are going to sell like hotcakes. So it changes completely, you know, but it's the way you look at things. So I would say don't compare yourself to anybody. Do I still compare myself to other people? I don't compare myself to other people, but I still look up to other people's projects. Because again, like I told you, with all these brands that we've done videos for, sometimes my brain fries, you know, and I have no ideas. So what do? I go online, I check out these ideas. I'm like, okay, what did he do that I can probably kind of take from it, you know? But I'm not comparing myself to him.
Right.
I just take ideas. So I'm always looking up to people.
So for me, talking about, well, I like what you said, you know, not to compare yourself, because I think that's really important, that, you know, we do a lot at the beginning, even before we start, and then we completely put ourselves out of the game. We're like, oh, well, look at where they're at, or look at how much they've accomplished. Something else you reminded me of, though, I want to say really quick, is don't think that you can't make a living out of your dream because it either doesn't exist or because too many people are doing it.
So competitivity.
Yeah. So there's so many different meal prep companies. Like a couple years ago, meal prep companies were not a thing at all. Now you have all these moms and people on Instagram, you know, YouTube, that they literally cook from their comfort of their home, pack meals, go deliver them, or somebody comes and picks them up, and that's how they're making a living. And you might see, oh, well, wherever you're at, like in Portland, there's already so many meal prep companies, you know, like I'm just going to be another person, and they already have business, or there's already so many people doing nails. There's so many fitness clothing brands. It's so saturated, and I promise you that's the reason that I didn't start my brand, because there was a new brand every single day. To this day, there is still a new brand every single day on Instagram that pops up or that goes to the Olympia convention. And guess what? They're making money, and here I am with all my ideas. And that could be you right now thinking, oh, well, you know, it wasn't an original, or, you know, I kind of like their recipe, but I'm going to do this to it. Is it still worth doing it, or something? So just do it, try it, start, because you don't know what you can have that's different, how you can make your business different. And make sure you do have something, though, that's different, whether that's your personality, your marketing, your recipe, your style,
so
your something. Yeah, go ahead.
So, like she was saying, I don't want to interrupt, but she hit that. What I was going to say that she's learned as well is, even if your stuff is the same, if your service is the same, like you were saying, it's like, well, it's already saturated. Nobody's going to book me. What makes me different, you know? What makes you different is your personality. And this is something huge. So many clothing. I mean, we're into clothing brands.
We're into
right?
fitness clothing brands.
So into fitness clothing brands. And we have said is like, well, you know what? Look how, whatever, the CEO, he thinks he's the shit. He's not even humble. He's not even, what does he do with the community? He does nothing. It's all just me, you know? But yet we've seen other clothing brands that we relate to a lot, because we look up to them, because like, you know what? This is how I want to be when I get my clothing brand. She's so humble. She cares about her clients, community, her staff, stuff like that, you know? So that makes you different, your personality. So that's something I've always told you as well, is that when we go out, I'm not selling my service at all. What I sell is our personality, because I got booked in back home again, even after I moved here. And I told my client, I'm like, you know what? I have so many friends, or I have so many people I know that can do your wedding video. In fact, better than me, you know? I'm not the best. Like I said, there's always going to be somebody better than you, you know? But they said like, no, don't worry. I want you to be my videographer for my wedding, regardless, no matter what. If I have to fly you in, I'll fly you in. What does that tell you? That even if my work sucks, which it doesn't, okay, we're past the point. We're past the point, you know? I feel like we sucked at one point. But if you don't mess up, if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're never going to get better, you know? Even if my work wasn't up there or the best out there, they will still hire you for who you are, your personality. They like you, because I've learned that they would rather have a videographer that they can have fun with in the wedding, you know, in their wedding, than having a photographer or a videographer that is stuck up, even if their work is good. But why would you want to have somebody like that, you know, in your wedding, knowing that, you know what, their hands are in my wedding video? No, I'm sorry. Their video is in their hands, you know, in my hands. Yeah. So I've learned that, you know, that they hire you for who you are. Yeah. So sell your personality, even if it's the same thing. It doesn't matter, you know. Obviously, it's not gonna be. Don't do it the same, but we get the idea. If you're gonna make a tamal, you have a lot of competitors, you know. But who you are, what you do, you know, what do you do with the money that you get from there? Are you growing the business? Are you helping the community? Right. So I just wanted. Yeah. So. Going back to what we were talking about as far as having a plan, you know, after you take that first step, the biggest thing that I want to tell you guys is that you don't have to have it all figured out. You know, you don't have to have a blueprint. You don't have to have a map or a list of steps. You can have an idea about how you want it, or you can write something down. But again, a lot of unexpected things come your way when you're doing this. And if you are a believer, like if you have faith and you believe in God,
then a lot of more unexpected things might come your way because you're being tested in many different ways. And, you know, you need to be prepared to be flexible. But I would say after you take that first step, whatever that step is, getting a website, making a business card, making an Instagram, doing that first post, telling your friends, your family, whoever, that first step for you, whatever that looks like, then I would say to automatically set up and commit to doing that second step. Don't worry about 10 steps. Don't worry about 3 months from now, 6 months. Just do that next step, because if you're like me, like an over planner, and you want everything planned out specifically, it's really hard for you to think, well, I want to know what this is going to look like in 5 months, or I want to know when I'm going to get my investment back, or am I going to fail, you know, in a year? Like, what's going to be next, you know? So I would just focus on having done your first step, because that's super important, and then focus on how you're going to do your second step and actually do it. And no matter the outcome at this point, no matter the outcome, whether it goes good or bad, decide that you're not going to give up, you know, like just truly commit to that thing, whatever it is that you want to do, that you want to become the best at. And know that right now at the beginning, you're going to have bad days, but guess what? In 10 years from now, you're probably still going to have a bad day. You have days and times where you booked nothing, where there's nothing. And I have days like today where I have booked nothing up until now. You know, it happens. That's what comes with the job, you know? So
that's what comes with being an entrepreneur.
That's why. With the job. That's what I meant.
What something that we can tell them now, because now you've experienced this, right? Mm-hmm. Is I remember a few years back, she says like, wow, look, what you make in one day, I make in a month or
You're not
two,
gonna let it go.
if anything, you know? But you beat me now.
It's not a competition.
It's not a competition.
Mini Cooper.
But is it? No. So, I mean, it's crazy. So now to think about it, and I mean, I'm gonna tell him, you know, like you worked your first very day on the field. You were calling, how many people did you call? 40 people? Mm-hmm. Honestly, you spoke to 40 people, right?
Yeah. I didn't even speak to 40 because not everyone
She called
answered.
40 people.
Yeah.
From those 40 people, maybe 15 called. From those 15 phone calls, in that period of time, it was only 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Okay, 2 hours. Imagine this, guys. 2 hours, okay? From those 2 hours, you booked 4 appointments. Mm-hmm. From those 4 appointments, how many minutes, because not even hours, how many minutes were you with each phone call? 2?
2, 3.
1 to 3 minutes each phone call?
Yeah.
So 4 appointments. From those 4 appointments, 2 you actually closed. Mm-hmm. But why? Because 2 no-showed, okay? And this, anything, same thing with me. I've had people no-show me on meetings, but in this case, her, 2 no-showed. Meaning, it was probably like a 75% from those people who she called, she booked. So that means 2 minutes phone call and you made $1,000 mm-hmm. in just technically speaking in 1 minute.
I mean, and a 30 or so minute appointment actually.
30-minute appointment, but you basically, the hardest, to me, I've always said that the hardest thing is making an appointment, because you're literally cold calling people from scratch.
Right.
So you don't know if they're going to book with you. Mm. You're going out to pitch them to see if they will book with you.
Right.
So once you have that closed, basically doing the job that's it, you know? So that's why with me, she used to say, she's like, oh, wow, in one day.
I used to get so mad, guys. I'm honest, because I'd be working like 8, 12 hours, and it'd be like, okay, he'd text me and he'd be like, I'm leaving to a gig, you know, and
to go do a wedding.
Yeah, and
8 hours.
No,
12 hours?
No. Let's say you did like a 5-hour wedding.
Okay,
even a 5-hour
okay.
wedding. At his rate, he was making what it takes me a whole week to make. And I used to get so mad, because that was just me being childish, you know, but it pushed me to this point to say, hey, if he can do it, I can do something too. But I used to get mad because I'd be like, I'm stuck in an office all day with no windows, with crappy attitudes in this tiny little office.
Yeah.
And putting up with this and that, and I have to clock back in because I have a break and my lunch is over, and just all these things that, you know, you have to deal with in what we call corporate America. And he whenever I'd get to go to weddings with him on the weekends, it was always so fun, because It's people's happiest day of their lives, right? It's people's happiest day. For the most part, they're really happy. They're nervous. People are crying. And then he'd get dressed, you know, he'd be at home all day editing, whatever. We'd go shoot a wedding. It'd be fun. You know, we'd get fed, hang out with the DJ.
And then you would always tell me like, wow, this is your job and you get
this
paid
is
this
his
amount.
work, you know, because that's something that he loves to do. Like, he is in his element. And then after, we'd stop at our favorite In-N-Out. And that's how you end a work day with him. And I'd be like, this is not work. Like, this is not work.
Exactly. And then I'm getting paid for that, you know? And then they're, oh my God. So not everything is a competition, but I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
You know? And I got to beat that now.
Yeah, you do.
So
Good
not
luck.
everything competition, but it's a,
we keep it
here's the
fun.
thing. We keep it healthy and fun.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have to always keep it healthy. We always have to keep it fun. So I'm very proud of you. It's crazy, you know, like.
But it's on now.
It's on. No, I just can't believe after 6 years. So see, here's the thing. It doesn't matter how long it takes.
Mm-hmm.
You keep on going. You keep on going. And again, it doesn't mean I'm going to last doing what I'm doing forever. And it doesn't mean you're going to last doing what you're doing forever. But you finally did it. You took that leap. Mm-hmm. It's going to take you to where you want to be. And
right.
Maybe, who knows, God knows if this is going to be for you in the long run or not, you know? But you took that leap. And if it had to be this one for you to figure out, you know what, it's true. If I'm going to do something, I have to do it 100% and have faith, you know? So now you got it out of the way. Mm-hmm. So for however long you're going to do this, let it be. And if it's going to be forever, but at least you like it. You literally genuinely feel like you like it. You like helping people. Mm-hmm. God put this in your hands to help people.
Right.
And look at you. You get paid
to help people.
To help people.
Literally. Like, that's something that I've been saying for a long time, that I want to get paid to help people, to help families, and I get to help.
And you have written it down.
I've written it down, yeah. And that's the thing about not being specific with your goals, because I never wrote how. So God said, here's this opportunity. Exactly. And here you go. You know, you wanted to help people, so here you go.
And
go
this
do
has
it.
Also taught you to be even more specific. Because you did say, he's like, yeah, I want a job where I get paid doing what I like to do, but I want to help people.
Yeah, but I didn't say how.
And you didn't say how. So it's not a bad thing.
No, but you do have to be specific with the things that you write down and the things that you want to have
so
happen.
I've learned, I mean, that notebook, I don't know.
I have a magic notebook.
It's that pen, you know, so I have to be very specific with what I ask for, because that ink is running out. And I don't know if it's the notebook or if it's the pen.
I have a magic notebook that we write our stuff in. And a lot of the things that thankfully, you know, we've written down are now coming to fruit, as they say.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've talked about a lot of different things, guys. We wanted to make this really personal because we wanted you guys to be able to relate to us. Anyone that comes across this video, if you know somebody that has a dream and you believe in them, but they don't believe in themselves and they're just not, you know, getting started, then send this video to them, share it. Don't forget to definitely give this video a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments below what your guys' dreams are. It could literally be anything, like best cupcake baker in the world, or videographer like him, or model, or anything, because honestly, anything goes in today's age. You can literally make money on social media so easily doing anything. There is no excuse, guys. And yeah, just definitely leave us comments below about what you guys thought about this video. If you guys like these types of videos, I want to make more videos like this to motivate and encourage you guys in all different types of ways. And we are going to be putting our business Instagrams down below, so plug there. He's a videographer, photographer. I do a lot of different things, so I'll put all my Instagrams down below. I'll put his Instagram. And I am currently hiring right now for my business. So I'm hiring in all 50 states. Thankfully, I have the pleasure to say that. So go ahead and contact me, guys, through Instagram as well. And what else can we say? Is there something else you want to say about people pursuing their dreams that we haven't really touched on? Like the truths about pursuing your dreams. Like, it's messy. It's not going to always go your way. You're going to have obstacles. But it's really rewarding, right? When you get to come home at the end of the day and say, you did this for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about a lot of stuff.
We talked about everything that I think we wanted to do. I guess if you wanted to recap, is just remember, be patient, be persistent. You are going to fail.
Just know you're going to fail.
Just know you're going to fail, you know? And check this out. My first video gigs, they were amazing, you know? So, and it's funny because your first day on the job, it was amazing.
Yes.
So I told you, and I'm like, look, it's kind of God telling you, giving you all the good fruits because you've decided to do it full time, or you decided you had faith. So here's what it's like to be successful. Just a piece, a bit, to kind of get a taste, right? But then guess what? You go backwards, you know? But then he's showing you this is what it's like also to fail, you could say, or to when it's not going good. So now you have the best of both worlds, not the best of both worlds, right? But now you know what it's like to have a good days, and now you know what it's like to have bad days. Right? As to, I don't know, I really personally don't know anybody, but it could have been totally different. When I first started, my first 5 gigs could have been trash. And I could have easily quit. I could have easily changed my major. I could have just decided not to even freelance no more, you know?
Right.
Same thing with you. You could have started on the wrong foot. No's. You know, you've invested a lot of money. And you could have given up.
Right.
So that's what I'm telling you. You guys have to have faith, you know? Just believe in yourself. First of all, believe in yourself. Be patient. Be ready for those no's. Be ready for bad days. But just because you have bad days does not mean it's always going to be like that, you know? But I think that's what you get for being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's what you get for being an entrepreneur. So if you guys want to chat with us on one-on-ones,
yeah,
I'm super down for that, you know? Just give us a call. I charged $1 a minute.
No, he doesn't.
I'm an entrepreneur, come on.
He's always trying to sell something. No. Literally, he'll make a quesadilla and he'll be like, I could make $10 off of this. That's what happens when you become an entrepreneur.
Yep.
You try and sell everything.
Okay.
So our baby's going to come and say bye to you guys.
That means
he wants
we have
to
to
go
say
out.
bye. All right, guys. So this is Sam. And that's Nala.
Yes.
Okay. You guys stink.
Yeah, you guys need a shower.
Go lay down.
Go lay down.
Go lay down.
Go. We're not done yet. We're working.
Go lay down. Go. Shh.
Go.
Go lay down. Yeah.
Go lay down. Go lay down.
Okay, guys. So we are gonna finish this video right here. So I think we did talk about everything and we closed off good.
Yeah. And just lastly, quick shout out to anybody that's ever supported us, believed in us, booked something with us, gave us words of encouragement, given us a like or shared our work, because believe it or not, you know, it just is what it is. We don't have a lot of people that support us.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know, we didn't let that stop us, so don't let that stop you. But just to anybody that has, you know, supported us, we really appreciate it. And we thank you guys for that. So, yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And we'll go ahead and see you in the next one. Bye.